And big greetings and hello to you from those of us here at Dental Nachos as we hit another episode of Talking Tech Tips with Terry. That would be me, Tuesday at 2. And it's 2 o'clock here in the Eastern Time Zone. And I'm glad to have you with us today. If you're joining us live today, we are live and we'd love to hear from you. We're going to be leaving some messages for you, for those of you that are getting the recording. And you can leave a comment as well. But we'd love to hear from you in a comment if you've got one, because we're talking today about an extraordinarily important topic. What are some of the leading skills that you need today in the workplace today? Now, this applies to dentists, or as Paul Goodman says, dentisting humans. It also applies to everyone else. And there's some keys that you want to find out. I had a recent article that I read in Harvard Business Review, and they talked about what you need with an interview that they did. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later, but just exceptionally good advice on what to do. And learning is one of those things they're talking about. And Paul Goodman, who we affectionately call Dr. Nachos here, really stresses that. I got to tell you, just looking at him as someone who's worked with them as a consultant and an advisor, marketing and communication advisor for a few years now, for about 3-4 years, I really am amazed at what he does and how he learns and how he picks up new topics and really eager to learn. I think that's important. We're going to talk about that today. It's something that'll be real important. So this is going to be not just your average program. We often will show certain technologies, and those are good, but we're going to be talking about how to approach the learning of technology and what you need to do on that. So that's going to be one of the things we're going to cover as we work on that today. I'm going to talk about that article that was in the Harvard Business Review. And it was an interview that they had with Julie Sweet, something really, really important. And she is a person that, well, she knows what she's talking about. She is the CEO of Accenture. And Accenture, yeah, you know, the one that does the consulting and the really, really smart people there. She does a brilliant job of that. They have over 700,000 employees. That's a lot. And they have all kinds of people from, of course, consultants and people who are specialists in different areas. They have medical doctors on board. They have people who are brilliant in several different areas. And I think, okay, this is something that we can learn from. And she talks about how they approach it. And so I'd love to hear from you on what you're seeing, and what you're seeing are some of the most important things that are available with people interviewing today when they're working, and what kind of comments are there that we are seeing from different people. And by the way, speaking of comments, we've got one here from Bob. Dr. Nacho is awesome. Is running his first coordination. Yes, here, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see all of that. There we are. Bob is running, and coordination of Super Dentist Boost was second to none. Yeah, by the way, Bob, we appreciate your involvement in that. We just finished the second Super Dentist Business Boost, and a lot of good ideas there. And if you didn't get a chance to attend that this time, watch out for the next ones that are coming up, because it's packed full of great ideas, great camaraderie and mixing, so that it's something that really is an energy booster, if I can use that word, the booster that's there to really help. So Bob, we appreciate you being involved in that and being a part of that, and appreciate you, Bob, being here today to talk to us also, because we know that this is a really important thing. Learning and how to learn is going to be really critical. And this was the interview that they did. It was in the Harvard Business Review with Accenture CEO Julie Sweet on the most important skill that job seekers need today. What do you think that is? What do you think is the most important skill? If you're watching this, leave a comment in there. And by the way, if you're catching this live, go ahead and put that in there. We'll see it, whatever platform you're on. We're using the wonderful tool called Restream so that we can be on Facebook as well as over on Twitter and on LinkedIn and over on YouTube all at the same time. Or as I like to say, simultaneously and at the same time. Yeah. Okay, work with me on this a little bit. Some of these I just do for me, okay? But you can leave a comment, and we'd love to hear from you. And if you're catching the recording on this, please leave a comment there because we watch these very carefully after they have been recorded and they're out there. And we know that most people are going to see it that way. And I want to share with you what she had to say because that most important skill is something that you look at and go, oh, okay, that's really interesting. Well, here's what she said in that. She said, let's talk about one of the most important things that we look for, actually, no matter who you are, is your ability to learn. Learning agility. I think that is critical. Learning agility. Very, very important. Matter of fact, I wanted to pull up a book here from a friend of ours. Gina and I know this because this is the person, Amanda Satelli, who wrote a book called The Agility Advantage. Great little book. I read it years ago. Came out, I think, in 2014, and it's even more relevant today than ever before. The importance of being agile. Being able to adapt. And I thought it was interesting what Julie Sweet is saying as CEO of Accenture, that she says exactly what Amanda is saying. Now, Amanda did go to Harvard and got her MBA there with Gina, and they learned a lot and still learning. And I think that's the key. You keep adapting. You keep adjusting and learning as you go. And the way that Julie talks about that, hey, that is really important. So that learning agility, because we know that while we may hire you for a certain set of skills, listen to this is important. The rate of change and the need for skills is quite rapid. So there's lots of research on this, that skills that were around, and get this, skills that were around in the Fortune 500, for example, in 2017, long ago, 2017, that approximately 40% are no longer relevant. Holy smoke, holy moly. Not 2017, that was just a few seconds ago as you look at the glacial longevity that we have in the world and how long it's been around. That is really, really important. And you want to make sure that you learn how to learn. Bob, I like what you say here, the ability to learn. It is huge. Absolutely. So it's not just a matter of what you know right now. That's good that you went to school and you studied whatever it was. That's good. And at that time, it was good. But now, as Bob is saying here, the ability to learn, it is huge. We've got to make sure that we're constantly learning new. And I think that that is something that's built into what they do. They bake it right into the formula there at Accenture. I think that's good. Now listen to this, what she said here. As we think about our own business, we start with learning agility, and we ask a very simple question to all of our applicants, senior and junior. Those who are coming from school, we ask it slightly differently because, well, they're in school. Say, what have you learned in the last 6 months that was not part of school? And we add for them that we're recruiting on campus when they do that. And what we're looking for is individuals who naturally learn things. Now, the answer could be, I learned how to cook. Or it could be, I learned how to change a tire. Things like that are what they are looking for. So this is business. What are you doing to learn that's not part of your fundamental job, but other things? What kind of books are you reading? I tend to like learning from books. I know a lot of people learn different ways. I use video as well. I love podcasts. I've got a video channel on YouTube, Agorapreneurs, by the way, as a shameless plug there, and the podcast, Agorapreneurs, also on that, so you can subscribe. We've got a few subscriptions available for you. They're free, so you can have that. But I find I learn a lot from reading, that I can process information rapidly that way. I use a skill that I got several years ago called photo reading from a company called Learning Strategies, and shows how to really just suck in lots of good information very quickly. And I would recommend you find something that works for you. Find what you can do to read. Now, I like the idea of reading because I can skip quickly and I can go through a book very, very rapidly. But there's a lot to be said also for learning from video, particularly when you can take the video speeds and pick it up. So instead of listening to it at 1x or 1.0 speed, you can then pump it up to maybe 1.25, just a little bit more, or 1.5 or 2, depending on the person, depending on the topic, all of that. That really is important. And when you can do that, you can do very well. So I like what they said here in this article in Harvard Business Review. And by the way, speaking of that, Bob, I appreciate what you're saying. HBR, Harvard Business Review, is an awesome magazine journal. If you don't get it, subscribe now. Bob, I'm going to put a few more exclamation marks behind that myself. I find that with the Harvard Business Review, and they're not compensating me, they're not paying anything to me, but if they want to, they can. But they don't owe me a thing. I just love getting it because every issue, and I'm using the word every carefully, every issue has something in there for me, something that'll be good. Now, they have a lot of articles that might not apply to me. They're in different industries or they're about a topic that's not that big important to me, but there's always something. There's always something there that I go, that makes me think. So I would encourage you to take a look at that and look at what they have done, what they say, and how they're using it as well. Now, here's another thing that Julie went on to say in that interview. Then you take a step back, and what do you think? That digital literacy is absolutely critical. Actually, now get this. Actually, all of our 700,000 people, that's a lot, regardless of where you sit, if you're working in our mailroom, we still get mail, or if you're in the front lines with our clients, you have to go through something we call the TQ. That's your technology quotient. Very important, where you take and have to pass assessments in 10 areas. Think about that. A technology quotient, kind of like we have emotional intelligence and we have the regular intellectual intelligence and the IQ. They look at it for technology as well. And you've got to think about, okay, what can we do? That ability to learn, to be agile in your learning, and then make technology an integral part of that. I love the way they say it. It says, because we really believe that basic technology skills are critical in every aspect. And that sort of links to the second area of talent that we focus on, which is the creator of talent. You want to be create talent around you, the people that you're with, helping them to nurture and to grow. And I got to say something. As a person who's an advisor, not an employee, but an advisor to Dental Nachos and the team there, I see that consistently. With Paul, Dr. Nachos, and Mary, Mrs. Nachos, we see that they're helping, they're nurturing, and helping people that are here to learn more. Hey, I'm learning. Not that I want to learn dentistry. No, that's not it. But it's learning the skills of technology, learning the skills of how to learn, what to do. The way Paul says it, he says we ought to test, don't guess. That's brilliant. Very, very succinct. 3 words. Test, don't guess. And I think that is really important, what we want to do and what you'll want to do. So as you're learning, keep stretching your brain. We know that you could push your body too hard. Say, for instance, if you were lifting weights, there's a certain amount of weight, depending on whoever you are, that you could do some damage if you lifted too much of that. I wonder, could you hurt your brain by trying to think too much? I don't know, but I'd love to find out from some psychologists, from some psychiatrists, mental health experts. Could we hurt it by trying to, say, memorize too much? I don't think so. I think it could only help. So think about being able to read faster, being able to use your memory more. These kind of skills can be really important. And as we talk about technology here in our Talking Tech Tips with Terry Tuesday at 2, well, here's the tech tip. Learn how to learn faster. That's technology that you're going to learn and have that skill. You see what Julie Sweet said there at Accenture. You have to have certain skills in technology, whoever you are, wherever you're working, because technology is just an integral part of what we're doing today. And then I like also what she went on to say here. They had some people ask a question. We had a question from an Anna and Brunei. And Anna's question is, your personal opinion, what would be the most essential skill sets that graduating students should equip themselves with? Well, hey, that's important. Julie said, technology literacy, and by that I mean that you need to treat computer science like reading. Holy moly, computer science like reading. I grew up learning about the 3 R's. Reading, writing, arithmetic, we learned that. And by the way, I think those are still important today. Learning how to read, learning how to write and communicate, very important. And by the way, communicating not only in writing, but on video and in audio. Very important how you enunciate, how you speak, how you come across in video, and that is really important today. But now she's talking about computer literacy. That, to me, is pretty amazing when she talks about that. So you need to have that, not that you have to become a programmer, but you have to have experienced it. Do something in programming, just something so you can see what it is. And you need to have that basic knowledge about what is in the cloud. cloud. What is cloud? What are we talking about? What is AI, artificial intelligence? And some of the best schools really are creating technology curriculum that are not intended to graduate a technologist. So someone's who's actually going to either program or build technology, but to build technology literacy. That is profound. Underline that one and red flag it. It's there, yeah. Until then, really sort of curating your own program so that you're graduating, you understand, and you have basic understanding of these skills that are really, really important. Think about that. These skills are critical, and you've got to continually go to the University of Learning. A lot of us will go to what we euphemistically call the University of YouTube, finding a topic that you really need to know about. And I like the idea that I can see a variety of videos. Some of them are really, really good. Some, not quite so good. That's okay. I believe YouTube is providing a lot of good there. I know some people think, I don't like YouTube because of whatever they're doing with their censorship and that. I'm going to put that aside for a moment because I think it's something that should be addressed in some circles. But I think if we look at the positive of what YouTube is doing, it's nothing short of phenomenal. And also, podcasts. Podcasts are incredibly powerful for learning about many different topics. You can find out about something really specific and be able to get into that and see what it's like. I'm actually looking forward to, at the end of this month, going to PodFest, which will be one of the largest, and it has been the largest podcast event in the world by Guinness World Records. We actually set 2 world records, beating our own record one year of number of people online doing it. This year, we're going to do it, and this May, at the end of the month, it'll be in person. But if you want to learn about podcasting, how to do it, that's something you want to tap into. PodFest. I think it's PodFest Expo, EXPO.com, where we have the website and all that. And by the way, accompanying that at the same time is going to be the Florida Bitcoin and Blockchain Summit. They've asked me to be the opening keynote speaker. So I'm very honored at that. This will be my 3rd time doing that for the event. And I'm hoping this time I get it right, okay? But we'll do it 3rd time. They're talking about what's going on with that. But again, we're learning. We're just continuing to force ourselves to learn more and have fun with it. I guess force could be a wrong word because it usually indicates something that's not desirable. But really entice yourself. There's a better word, I think. Entice yourself to learn more and get more done in many different ways. And that's really the key. So I'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think in the comments about learning, how you're learning, and these important skills that are out there. We need these skills, and I think what Julie Sweet said really makes a lot of sense. It's something that we have to do on a regular basis, and put yourself into a university of you, the university of you learning. You will be the professor, you will be the student, and you will come up with the curriculum. But with Google, with YouTube, with the podcasts that are out there, with the YouTube channels that are available, along with the vast array of wonderful books that are out there that you can get, most of them free. There's no excuse for not stretching your brain to achieve the goals that you want for you. And that is how we're going to learn about technology, how we're going to be able to do more in those areas that are most important to us. So I'll look forward to hearing from you on that. And also, don't forget about something that Dr. Paul wanted me to mention to you to get the help you need from me. I have a website set up called 20withterry.com. That's 20 with WITH, and Terry is, of course, TERRY. And you can use that. Also, by the way, you see the QR code there. You could scan that with your smartphone. I know you got it with you right now. So you could take a look at that. And what you would do is apply, and there's a free consultation, 20 minutes, where for 10 minutes you tell me what's going on. What kind of challenges would you have in marketing or in video, things that I work with a lot. And then I'll take 10 minutes and give my ideas. There's no charge to you on that, and you'll be able to get some information you need. And if you think, this was good, I like that, and there's an opportunity for us to work together, I offer a lot of coaching, consulting, and helping people, and that might work for you. But we want to make that available as a way to give back to a community that has helped us so much. So a lot of good things are there. And in closing thoughts, I really appreciated that article. Matter of fact, I'd encourage you to go back and look at the article. Came out on May 6th, 2022, just a few days from ago now as we're recording this. And it's got a lot of good information in there that Julie shared with the editor-in-chief of Harvard Business Review. And I would encourage you to look into that and think about the skills that you need to develop for where you you are as either a dentisting human or maybe you're doing something else, some other kind of work and profession. All of this can be very, very helpful. And I really appreciate you stopping by to see us again for another Talking Tech Tips with Terry Tuesday at 2. And I will look forward to seeing you again.